Yo, what is going on, y'all? It's your boy, it's your host, Calvin Domingo, aka Steezy A. Smith with Press Sports. And we are knocking these out, but I got yet another exclusive interview for you guys. And by now, if you don't already know, I have with me a VIG, not a VIP, a very important guest. And ladies and gentlemen, let us not wait any longer. But please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Carson Newman commit Connor Goodson.
What's up, y'all?
Yo, Connor, how you doing, bro?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm feeling blessed by the best. But before we start, I'd be a fool not to remind everybody that, or to everyone that uses the Press Sports app, we want to feature users who have a story to tell. And this man right here in front of me has a very motivational story to tell. So, Connor, let's take a trip down memory lane, my brother. What got you into football and at what age? And this is a two-part question, but did you play any other sports growing up? And if it wasn't football today, what sport would you be playing right now?
All right. So the first one, who got me into football really, and at what age? I had to be 4 or 5 years old watching the Packers and 52 on the outside. Clay Matthews, man, I love watching Clay Matthews play. He got me into it. He got me playing linebacker when I was young. I came into my first practice, never played. I told everybody I played linebacker, and it's just because Clay Matthews played linebacker, so I thought that's what I wanted to do. If it wasn't football, it'd have to be basketball. I was always in the gym when I was little. I wanted to be a basketball player more than anything when I was little. But as I grew up and matured a little bit, I realized that football was for me. I had to put down the basketball, but I still played through high school.
Okay, for sure. And did you play what, guard, forward,
I was
center
a
in
shooting
basketball?
guard. I was a
Shooting
shooting
guard.
guard.
Okay, were you a sniper with it?
No, sir, I was not. I was driving. I took the ball to the paint. I was not shooting. I was taking it to the hoop.
Okay, so you were more of a slasher.
Yes, sir.
Okay, bad. Hey, I can relate. I mean, I'm a retired athlete, but back in the day, I mean, I grew up with basketball as my first love, my first ever sport. And even to this day, I might not be hooping professionally or collegiately, but I'm
Mhm.
still hooping, getting in those runs at LA Fitness. You know what I
For
mean?
sure, for sure. I'm gonna be doing that my whole life. I
Right,
can't
right,
can't
bro.
quit
Hey,
playing.
basketball, it's a way of life. It's a way of life. Just because we're on the subject and because the NBA finals are happening, do you have a basketball team that you root for?
I want the Celtics to win the finals. I'm rocking with the Celtics. Tatum, I got to go with them. The Warriors had too much success lately. Got to go with the underdogs.
Okay. So a good thing you said lately, because I was gonna say the Celtics have, I mean, they're tied with the Lakers for the most rings in
Right,
NBA
right.
history. So I mean, they've had plenty of success on their side. Is that your team though?
That's not my team. My team was the Thunder, but
Oh,
then Westbrook got traded. It broke my heart, man. I was a Westbrook fan. I loved Westbrook when they had Westbrook, KD, Harden. That was when I loved the Thunder, and then the big three broke up in OKC.
bro, that's crazy because you said you were heartbroken. Well, I'm heartbroken because I'm from Seattle. I'm currently living in Seattle, and as you know, before they became the Oklahoma City Thunder,
Hmm.
they were the Seattle Supersonics, and
Yeah.
so man, that's tough. I mean, I don't have a bias against the Thunder, but I just
Mhm.
I haven't met many people that are fans of the Thunder, so that's real dope to
I
hear.
love I loved Russ, man. He was my
Love
favorite
Russ.
player in the NBA.
Not anymore though.
He still is. He just gets so much hate. He's constantly
Right.
hated on. I don't feel like he deserves it. I feel like he's a
No,
great
no doubt.
player, but
Too much hate. Too much hate. Look, but Connor, we're gonna move on. And so we talked about football, right? And how obviously you're a Carson Newman University commit, and right now, or at least throughout high school, you play running back. You play outside
yes, sir.
linebacker on defense. You talked about Clay Matthews. So, and I think I have a pretty good, or I think I have a good idea of where you're going here. But which side of the ball do you prefer, and why?
It's got to be outside backer. That was always my favorite. I love just being out in space, being able to see everything, and then crashing in on runs. And I felt like I was decent in coverage. I like running with the guy and having a chance to pick the ball off, read the eyes of the quarterback. That was always more fun to me. But then again, all positions in football are fun. So like running back was still great. I love carrying the ball. Having the chance to move the ball for my team is unique. Not everybody gets a chance to be that guy who's it's 3rd and 1, go get the yard. That's what I
Right.
love was the short yardage, running up the middle.
And
It's
not only that, I mean, there's an opportunity to just lay folks out, right? I mean, when
right,
you're a running
right.
back, I don't know if you're a bruising type of back, but you talked about short yardage situations. So I think
That's
it's
what I
safe to
was.
assume, okay, that's what you did
That's what I was. I wasn't gonna make a cut. I'm not trying to juke anybody. I'm lowering the shoulder every time.
every single time. Okay, all right, bet. Well, Connor, do you have aspirations to become a professional football player?
If the opportunity presents itself, man, there's nobody in his right mind will turn that down. So of
Of
course I'd
course.
like to go play. But if that
Okay.
doesn't work out, I feel like I've set myself up pretty well academically with Carson Newman. I'm gonna major in finance and economy.
Mhm.
And so I feel like I could take that multiple directions, just whatever I saw fit.
Right, right. And you know what they say, and I think how does the quote go? Knowledge is power. And
Right.
I always tell people when they say knowledge is power, you still got to be able to apply it. And so, but I think most importantly, I mean, once you have that knowledge, you do have that opportunity, you do have that chance to apply it. And so, hey, well said there. At
So
least you have
thank
a
you.
backup plan, right? You're welcome, and you're prepared. Just real quick though, I know we talked about your favorite basketball team. Do you have a favorite NFL team?
I've been a Packers fan since I started watching Clay Matthews. That's what put me on football really to begin with was Clay Matthews. So I had to go with the Packers. And then after he moved on to the Rams, I still stuck with the Packers. I loved A Rod and Randall Cobb back in the day when he was playing for him, not Devontae Adams. I
Mhm.
loved him. Love watching them play.
Okay. Wow. The Packers. I mean, look, and like I told you, I'm over here in Seattle, and so obviously I rock with the Seahawks.
Yeah,
Packers ain't really a team that you know what I'm saying. I don't really rock with them, but hey, I respect Aaron Rodgers. You know, I respect
right.
what they do each and every single year. So, you know, hey, I gotta give it to you. But Connor, we're gonna keep this trip going down memory lane. This might not be, you know, I guess the brightest of moments, but it is something I know that you want to talk about. So, like we talked about off air, during your senior year, you suffered a multitude of injuries, including
Right.
but not limited to a torn ACL, torn LCL, MCL, kneecap, fibula, tibia. I could be missing a few, but Connor, tell me about the biggest hurdle you had to jump while recovering from these injuries, and how did you find the motivation to keep going after suffering some of the worst variety of injuries that you could possibly suffer?
So I mean, this was without a doubt the most mentally challenging time of my life. Was August of my senior year. So I the injury happened when we were on offense. I'm running the ball up the left sideline, and their safety's coming down. He comes down and meets me at an angle, and I lower my shoulder, but he got under me, and his helmet made contact with my left knee, and everything just kind of shot out to the left. And so like you said, tore my ACL, LCL, MCL, and meniscus. Fully tore the ACL and meniscus, so I had to have reconstructive surgery on both of those, and then I cracked my kneecap, tibia, and fibula, and then I had fluids leaking in behind my kneecap. So I had body fluids coming in behind my knee, pushing it out, and that was the most painful part. Like getting out of bed the next day, I couldn't walk, and that was why. It was because of the fluids, and so that kind of tipped me off that something was wrong. But what was unique about that is I thought I was okay because I'd never been seriously hurt before, so I thought I was okay.
Mhm.
And my injury happened August 27th. The next day, I wake up and I go to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, to see my brother, who's a student at Bama. And we walk around all day, and then come next Friday, they're asking like, "Are you ready to play? Are you ready to play?" I'm saying yes. Like I can play. I'm good. Trainer sees me. He's like, You're not ready. You're not ready to go." And so he makes me go get an MRI, and then I see everything is torn or cracked, whatever. And that crushed me. The physician who did my MRI scan actually called my dad, so my dad could deliver that news because he didn't want to tell a high school senior that he was done playing.
Mhm.
So he let my dad do it instead, and it was rough. I remember my dad saying, like, I remember him saying, "I'm sorry, buddy, it's torn." I just put the phone down and I went to my room for the night. That was it for me. I called my coach that night and told him, and it was tears were shed. A lot of tears were shed that night, but I imagine they would be for anybody. So
Mhm.
that was really rough, and I haven't talked about this to anybody on press sports yet. But that same night I tore my ACL, I lost a former teammate to suicide the
Oh,
same night, and so it was just for me personally, it was a time of huge emotional hurt. And then when we found that out the next day, the whole community, the school, everybody was just torn. So it was really tough, going through both those literally on the same day.
mm,
And me, like, obviously all my teammates are hurting. I'm hurting individually for myself and for him and for his family and then the team too. Everybody's torn up. So you talk about mentally challenging. That was easily the hardest time of my life for sure.
mhm. Wow. First of all, I just want to say, Connor, I mean, I know it's been some time, but my condolences, and I'm deeply
No, I
sorry
appreciate it.
for your loss. That's, I mean, I thought what I heard about the injuries, I thought that was a lot, and then you kind of put that on
Hmm.
top, and it's like, yo, hey, bro, I commend you. I respect you. I mean, for somebody
Thank you,
to have
thank you.
gone through, right? You're welcome. For somebody to have gone through all those injuries, and then that, like, wow, but I can't even fathom that, bro. And so,
It was crazy. It came out of nowhere. So my first year, like officially starting and everything, was my sophomore year, and he played D line in front of me. So it was him and then me stacked on top of each other, and it was crazy. He was a great guy. Everybody loved him. Yeah, I mean, I have no words for it. Really, it shocked me,
mhm.
but
Wow, bro. Hey, well, rest in heaven.
yes,
Rest
sir.
in heaven. But Connor, how do you find the motivation, or at least when this was all new? How did you find the motivation to just keep going? I mean, you told me about how you would wake up and you can't even walk. So take me through that.
Right.
And how did you fight that on a day to day basis?
So again, this is part of that mental battle. So it was my battle was, do I want to go be a student somewhere, and live the average college life that most guys go to live, or do I try to come back from something that I don't really know if I can come back from, but
Right.
get the chance to play ball? And so I just wake up every day. I go to PT for 2.5 hours, however long it took, and my goal was to get back for baseball because we had a really good baseball team my junior senior year. Junior year, we actually ended up losing in the state title game. We
Mhm.
lost the state title junior year, so that was a lot of motivation for everybody. And I didn't want to miss having the opportunity to compete for a championship again, or I didn't want to miss the opportunity because I was hurt. I'd already missed all my football season. I'd already missed basketball. I'd missed too much, and so I'd wake up, go to therapy, then I come home, still felt the same. Like day to day, you don't notice the difference, but over the weeks, you'll be like, okay, this was something I couldn't do last week, and now I can. So you see the week to week progression, and that helped me a lot. But you're still not where you're supposed to be. Like I still can't do full contact yet with football, but that'll come with time, as all things do. So I'll be okay. It's just knowing that you have a next step to take. Like you stay still and you get stagnant. Like I'll be hurt forever. I'll be hurt forever. That goes through your mind. You feel like you'll never get better, but you know in your heart that's not true. So you just got to find that next step and take it.
Hey Connor, I love the mindset, bro. I love the mentality. I could tell you've gone through a lot, but you've come out of that a stronger man. It
Yes,
sounds like
sir.
you're mentally stronger, and it's all about going through those trials and tribulations and coming out a better person. Which to me, it appears that you're already in the process of doing so. And so I respect you. I commend you, for
Yes, sir.
that.
Thank you.
You're welcome, bro. But you know what? Let's change the tone up. Let's change the mood a
Hmm.
little bit. Unless there was anything else you wanted to touch on, throughout your journey.
That was it for me.
That was it. Okay.
Hmm.
Well, let's brighten up the mood though a little bit, like I talked about. And so you told me, or we all know this already, but you've committed to
Yes,
Carson
sir.
Newman University. And I think back in March, if I'm not mistaken, and if memory serves me correct, you actually told us that you had offers from 7 different schools. And
Right.
so take me through the recruiting process at Carson Newman. And sorry, bro, this is a two-part question. But you talked about how you felt at home, on that visit. So tell me about what it means to feel, at home, and what did Carson Newman do for you on that visit that other schools didn't?
Carson Newman, I'd heard of them before, and they're somewhat close to home. You know, they're in Tennessee. I'm from Alabama, not too far. And so we go up for the visit. They had probably 40, 50 guys up there for their visit. And they handled everything really official. They bring everybody into a big auditorium type room. All the coaches introduce themselves and talk and everything. But the key thing that really struck me about this school was how much they preach love and God. And so the more they talked, every single coach spoke on love. It wasn't like, oh, we got to have the head coach up here saying that he loves all the kids and everything, so the moms will be happy. Like
Right.
every coach was saying something that was true, and you could tell they meant it by how they delivered what they were saying. And that made me feel really comfortable. That made me feel like, okay, I can come in my first year and not have to worry about feeling alone. I don't have to worry about what I'm going to do next because I have a coach to go to.
Mhm.
Another thing that they did that I loved was they had five players come in the same auditorium room. They had five players come in, all the coaches leave, and then the players got to ask the current players questions. The recruits got to ask the players questions, and they were honest with everything. Like if you asked a question and they had a negative answer to it, they'd give you the negative answer. They weren't going to sit there and lie and be like, "This school's perfect. This school's perfect." They're going to tell you how they felt, and that's what I loved. And the players said the same things as the coaches about love.
Mhm.
And I think that's how you build winning teams. I think that's how you build championship teams is through a bunch of guys that love each other and love the game. I don't think you can build a better team than that. And so that really drew me to want to be a part of the culture there, a part of the team, you know, involved with everybody. And then the facilities were the nicest out of any D2 school that I saw.
Mhm.
So the football field is real nice. And the locker room, I don't even know where to start with that. The locker room is awesome. Then the weight room is really nice, really well put together, and the strength coach really sold me on the weight program too because he seemed like he was on top of everything. Like he keeps numbers for every individual guy. You go to him for nutrition, he'll tell you what to eat, drink all day, whatever, what to do to get your body where you want to be. Well spoken guy, very well put together. He sold me pretty well on the weight program. I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait to be in it.
Right.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow, Connor. Hey, I'm real happy for you, bro. That's
yes.
that's so dope. If you don't mind, sharing with us just a little bit, what were some other schools that you kind of considered?
So trying to think of my top three, what my top three would have been. I was gonna make a top three, and then after I went to Carson Newman, I just shut it down. I knew that's what I
Right.
wanted to be.
Uh-huh.
I thought about Shorter University in Rome, Georgia. I took a visit there a couple weeks before Carson Newman, but then ended up deciding to go with Carson Newman. I had three schools out of Kansas offer me, which were Tabor College, Sterling, and Bethany, all in Kansas, offer me. Then I had Clark University offer me out of Idaho, I want to say,
Mhm.
but they were all fairly far. You know, those are flights, not drives. You can't drive there in a day.
Right.
So that was a big part of it too, was distance.
Mhm. And so
And
just
then
staying close to family.
right, I didn't want to be 10 plus hours away. Of
Right.
course, shorter is only 2 hours from where I live, but I was so drawn to Carson Newman, I couldn't pass it up.
Right. And look, earlier we're gonna backtrack just a little bit, but you talked about how, you just felt like this genuine connection. You felt the love within,
Yes,
the
sir.
team and a brotherhood, right? Well, when it comes to team sports, especially when it comes to football, because I played football in high school, so I
Right.
definitely know the feeling. But it's almost like a second family.
I
And
know.
so, like when you're traveling or when you're there for a visit, when it's family. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
There's innate feeling. And so bro, I can relate. I know what you're talking about. So that's, it's real dope that you found, another family, especially,
Mhm.
and everything that you've gone through, bro. Like you've gone through damn near hell and back. You know what I mean? And so, I'm real happy for you, bro, for real. And I'm
They
glad we're all glad that you're a user on Press Sports.
Thank
And
you.
you know,
Thank
for
you.
those of you guys that do know, he's verified on the app. And so, real quickly, y'all, if you're listening, if you're tuned in, whenever you get a chance to watch this, be sure if you're not already using the Press Sports app, download today, start posting. And once you do, be sure to fan up my man's man. His username, if I'm not mistaken, is Connor Goodson 24. So
Yes,
be sure to
sir.
fan him up on there. But Connor, we are on the subject of Press Sports. So I want to ask you, how did you hear about Press Sports and why do you use it today?
So some of my high school teammates use it, and I saw that they were using it. I was curious what it was because my first initial reaction was it's TikTok, but just for sports. And so that was my first initial reaction. And so I looked into it a little bit more, ended up downloading it. I was like, that's pretty cool. You know, I ended up posting a little bit, and then but my favorite thing about it was going through and seeing what other kids my age are doing, other football players my age. Like, what are they doing? What are they working on? Where are they going? And how are they preparing for it? You know, like what kind of workouts are these guys doing? Are they working footwork? They working out just raw strength, speed, like film, mental game? Like, what are they working on?
Mhm.
And I feel like it's a good way to kind of compare with other guys your age with the same like goals and mindsets and all that. I feel like it was a good comparison.
Right. Okay, that's real dope, bro. I mean, like we talked about off air, and you know this. I think we all know this by now. But Press Sports, there's thousands and thousands, not just athletes,
Hmm.
coaches, scouts, media, fans that use the app every day. And so, Connor, I gotta ask you, bro, what tips do you have for those that have gone through severe injuries like yourself? And do you have any advice for those looking to play at the collegiate level?
For people who have been hurt or been through some kind of major injury like this, you just got to see it through day to day. It's going to be hard no matter what. Nobody's going to get hurt and then think the recovery is easy.
Mhm.
But I think it's more mentally straining than physically. So whatever you have to do to protect your mental health, do it. Even if it's like just going outside and just being outside for a little bit to clear your mind, whatever you have to do it. And then for anybody who's wanting to go play at the next level, I think it's really simple. You just have to work hard and market yourself well.
Right.
A lot of people think like if you work hard they'll find you, or if you're good enough they'll find you. I don't believe that to be true anymore. I think it's changed a little bit now with, you know, huddle and recruiting services and all that, and every college coach has a Twitter now. Every single college coach has a Twitter. So if you think you're good enough to play, then you have to market yourself. You know, go make a Twitter, go get on Press Sports, something to find a coach. You know, you have to build yourself up and then show. You really have to show yourself off a little bit. So go make an account on Press Sports. Go DM coaches. Go do whatever you have to do to find your home at the next level.
Hey, Connor, that's crazy that you say that because, and actually, I put this in my notes section on my phone because for me, I'm a quote guy. You know, I write things on
Hmm.
sticky notes, you know, and because I'm a real motivational type of dude. And so I don't know the quote verbatim, but it was something along the lines of everybody, or there's a lot of people out there that work hard, but not everybody gonna shine.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so yeah, you're right, bro. Like there's so many people out there that work hard, but if you're not marketing yourself, if you're not using, you know, social media to put out your highlights, if you're not connecting with coaches and scouts, then what good is all the hard work that you're putting in if
Right.
nobody's gonna see it? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, bro, you could be the hardest you could be the hardest working person in the room. You could be the hardest working person in the entire world. But if you never make an effort to push any of your stuff out there, nobody's gonna see it.
Uh,
Nobody.
that's true. I would not have the opportunity to play college football if I did not market myself.
Mhm.
Every offer that I got came from either me posting something or me reaching out or making myself available, something like that.
Right.
Nobody just showed up at my school and was like, "Hey, we heard about you. We want you." You know?
Exactly, bro. Especially in the social media day and age that we
Right.
live in today. I mean, back then, okay, you might have been able to get away with that. You know what I mean? Because social media wasn't nearly as prevalent, but because now social media is king, then it's like, yo, everybody's hopping on this wave. You kind of got to do it as well. You know, you can't
Right.
just sit back and say, oh, you know, I'm a five-star athlete. I got this on tape. I did this statistically. I won championships. I put up stats. I'm gonna just sit back and I'm gonna let them find me. That's not how it's gonna work.
Mm-mm.
Nuh-uh. So, hey, Connor, bro, I'm glad that you took the initiative. And for those of you guys out there, one more time, download the Press Sports app. Get yourself noticed. There's thousands of coaches, scouts, media companies. You can get an NIL deal out of this as well. And so, on top of finding your future school, there's so many different opportunities that this app has to provide. And so, Connor, I hate to abruptly end this, but you know what they say: time flies when you're having fun. And so, before we do wrap up, though, Connor, please, the floor is yours. Drop your social media handles. Again, drop your Press Sports profile username. Give us any announcements, anything that you want the fans and the audience out there to know. Floor is yours.
So my Instagram and Press Sports are the same. I was trying to keep it simple, you know. So they're both Connor Goodson 24, no capitals, no space, nothing, just Connor Goodson 24. And that's really all I got. That's all I got. I appreciate the time today.
Nah, hey, Mr. Goodson, thank you so much for hopping on. To everybody out there, this is your host. This is your boy, Steezy A. Smith with VIG. I think it's number 4 or number 5, Mr. Connor Goodson. Please give it up. And that's it for us, y'all. Have a good night.